Week on days of our Steelers. After a shocking victory in Buffalo to take a 1-0 start to the season, the Steelers, with many offensive questions including the play calling, offensive line, and quarterback play so far, play the Oakland Raiders, as it looks like Jonathan Abram is taking notes from Josh Norman in the offseason. But they play the Oakland Raiders in their home opener, a team that has constantly and always played them to a very high level, despite the difference in levels that the Steelers and Raiders may have as an organization at any period of time. And it looks like the Steelers are once again refusing to use the middle of the field, and Matt Canada is being a mini Randy Fichtner, other than the fact that he doesn't have Jalen Samuels taking snaps for Wildcat plays. He's catering to Ben, a 39-year-old quarterback who clearly has lost some of his jazz. And right here, Claypool's not able to drag it down. It seems like that's their go-to play, deep to Claypool, and although he is a beast, pretty easy to stop. And the Steelers once again deciding to not use the middle of the field, as Ben Roethlisberger is pressured and he is hit hard, and once again nobody on his offensive line helps him up because they want to be little meaty fart heads. As right here, Derek Carr, he is going to scramble and he's not going to quite get the first down, but it looks like that's going to be some form of targeting against Robert Spillane. Will it be called? I'm not sure, and it looks like it was not an official play, and it was ruled back, thankfully. As right here, another missed tackle, and the Steelers, heading into this game, they don't have Devin Bush or Joe Hayden, both of which have a groin injury. And up to this point in the game, you're going to see TJ Watt will also go off the field with a groin injury, followed by Tyson Alualu, who looks like he has a high ankle sprain and will be out for the remainder of the season, or a torn AC or MCL, so praying for all of them. That sucks to see, especially for Alualu. He's a very underrated player to this defense. And Ben rolls out, and oh my goodness, Deontay didn't drop the football? He hasn't dropped the ball at all this year. It looks like the Lord is once again real. Ben Roethlisberger, he drops back, and he tries to find someone, but then he realizes, oh my god, he completed a pass that was beyond 10 yards? Wow. This must mean we're going to the Super Bowl. Matt Canada's offense is going to try to triumphantly finally score something as Juju actually gets into the end zone. It is a touchdown. Now hopefully he doesn't pull a TO and run to the middle of the field and do the Corvette. No? Well, it looks like Juju's been disciplined so far. Right here, Derek Carr, he drops back, doing something that Ben can never do, and that's run outside of the pocket. Even though Ben has slimmed down and he looks slightly more mobile, this doesn't matter because his young offensive line is exposing Ben for a 39-year-old quarterback who's digressing that he truly is at heart. But let's see who's on the bench. Haskins is out with a neck injury, and our designated backup quarterback is Mason Rudolph. Yep, looks like Ben's staying in as much as he possibly can because it won't make much of a difference at all, which is something that a 26-year-old quarterback in Mason Rudolph, who's been in the league for this is his fourth year, behind Ben Roethlisberger, is somehow a worse option than Ben. And I was never a fan of bringing back Ben, although I didn't think we had better options, but come on, I mean, he's washed. I believed what ESPN said about him now, not to the extent that they said, as this one's going to be a touchdown. No, not to the extent that they said, because simply Ben Roethlisberger, I didn't think he was going to be utter dog crap, that who couldn't throw the ball 5 yards like Cam Newton did last year, which is what ESPN tried to depict him to be, but I did think he'd be pretty bad, below average quarterback, game manager at best, and that's exactly what he is. And right here, the Ravens, they have a 6-7 lead as they're going to kick this field goal, and it is good. So the Raiders are going to go into halftime up 9-7, and they're going to get the ball to start the third quarter, and this defense, I don't know what it is, but without Joe Hayden, they seem to be all over the place in the secondary, because I feel like Minka is really like at the head, except Hayden really eliminated their side of the field when it comes to like them worrying about covering people. You know, you didn't have to worry about Hayden. He was going to lock him down. Minka would do his thing, you know, and Devin Bush would be the linebacker manager, you know, the head of the linebacking core. And that would be that. That would just leave you with the other side of the field. They would feel less stressed and they could do their thing as Roethlisberger is sacked, doing his old man jog up to the 30-yard line until he's eventually dragged down. I bet you Carl Nassib wished he would be on the back of Ben's gluteus maximus right about now. After all, it is something that Ben loves to do. As right here, Ben's going to drop back and he's going to throw it to Deontay for a play on 3rd down and 12. 3rd and 12. And we're running dump-off passes to Deontay. Are we even trying? That reminds me of the 3rd down and 10 or 3rd down and 9 we had against the Bengals on Monday Night Football last year that ended up in Juju getting blown up and fumbling the ball to Von Bell, and it became a meme. I mean, my goodness, like, are you even trying? That's a death trap. We're lucky he's not injured, which definitely isn't foreshadowing anything. As right here, Melvin Ingram finally getting the sack that he deserves. He played amazing last week. He's playing well this week. He got the sack here. It's going to be 3rd down and 9 for the Raiders. The Raiders are going to get the ball. And so let's see, can the Raiders continue to be triumphant? Yes, they can. That one is going to be caught by Hunter Renfrow. Number 13 for the Ravens. And no, it's not Michael for the Raiders. And no, it's not Michael Crabtree. So Richard Sherman can definitely calm down at that matter. As Henry Ruggs go fast is going to make it a 1st and goal for the Oakland Raiders. Excuse me. Not Oakland. Not Las Vegas. Not Oakland again. Not Los Angeles. But the Las Vegas Raiders. They just like Los, and they also like Oakland. And that's going to be a touchdown right here as Hunter Renfrow is going to get the score. And it's 16-7 Raiders. Now the Steelers are really going to have to try something. The Chiefs play later today on Sunday Night Football, and they're playing against the Ravens. So the Ravens should be 0-2, right? Definitely not foreshadowing that Lamar finally overcame his demon and won. And the Browns, they won their game, and the Bengals lost their game to the Bears. So if the Steelers lose this, they can't lose this. We're not going to think that way. We have a triumphant quarterback who revives himself. And where the hell did Ben throw that football? Seriously, where did he throw it? Who was that to? I get it. Maybe the wide receiver ran the wrong route, but even still, that's a massive overthrow by Ben. And that's a very friendly Steelers punt that's going to get him down inside the 3-yard line. Carr drops back. This one's going to be caught, and keep in mind, the Raiders don't have Josh Jacobs, and they're missing 2 starting offensive linemen, so they're not the only team that's injured. So we can't use injuries as an excuse. I get it. Knowing injuries prior that have occurred on your team before the game is played instead of right up until the game is played really helps because you can game plan around it, and the Steelers weren't able to do that with most of their players, and that's very unfortunate. But at the end of the day, triumph is a great aspect in the game of football, and that's something that the Steelers team never shows whenever they're hurt. Never. And that's why this defense doesn't look like their normal stellar selves today. They're missing players and they haven't shown triumph. It's as easy as that. As that one's batted down and it's going to be incomplete. Cameron Hayward bats it down. He has an amazing game last week against the Bills. Honestly, he had a very stellar performance. I would rank his performance over TJ, and both of which are very well, not to discredit anyone, as Claypool finally catches the ball, and he jukes someone, and he's going to go up to about the 25-yard line. Chase Claypool with 12 minutes left to play in the game, getting some firepower on the Steelers' offense, and now Ben's going to get a raise, except it was about time that this happened, because he only chucked it deep to Claypool about 7 times. As right here, Harris breaks the tackle. Harris spins, he accelerates, and that's going to be a 1st down and a touchdown for Najee Harris. Najee Harris gets his first professional touchdown, and that is going to make it a 1-score game, 16-14 Oakland. Can the Steelers defense be triumphant? And no, they cannot. 1st down Oakland. Darren Waller finally getting the action. They've maintained him very well today despite the absence of Devin Bush in the linebacking core. And this one is going to be chucked deep. And it is caught! Henry Ruggs! He burns him, and that's going to be a touchdown. Henry Ruggs go fast. And it looks like this game is going to be over. Derek Carr and John Gruden, they're smiling happily as this weakened secondary and against a very, very, very fast, if not the fastest player in the NFL, gets exposed, and that might be the dagger. And this one's going to go to Freiermuth. Can he get the 1st down? He is swarmed by 4 Raiders defenders. Can he do it? No. And why did Tomlin punt the football? I get it. He shouldn't have any confidence in this offense. But, I mean, come on. It's 1 yard, and we're down by 2 possessions. All right? I mean, this defense, they're still a good defense, right? Even without some of their star players, they're still a good defense, and especially with them. But, my goodness, you go for it. Mike Tomlin's the coach just talking about always never living in your fears. But he lived in his fears. That's very hypocritical of Mike. And I'm going to call him out on that right now. Mike, do better. As right here, the Steelers are going to get the 1st down, but it's 3rd down and 10 here. Crucial play of the game. Steelers just trying to keep this game alive. And Juju Smith-Schuster is not able to make the catch, and neither is Chase Claypool on that play. Juju is nowhere to be seen in this second half. as this is going to be a field goal for Boswell, the longest in Heinz Field history. I believe it was 56 yards, and that is good. So it's a one-score game, but all the Raiders have to do is he caught the football. Yep, this game's most likely over. Robert Spillane and Joe Schobert officially cannot have any pass coverage when it comes to being down more than 10 yards down the field and trying to defend someone. And this right here, Steelers praying for a miracle, and the Steelers are going to be 1-1. So let me get this straight. The Oakland Raiders, who do look a lot better than teams give them credit for. Now, granted, they beat the Ravens and the Steelers. Both teams that could be playoff teams, especially the Ravens. And let's just see what happens on this play. So Deontay, just to pad the stats. And why? Why do we do this? He's injured. Obviously, even if we ran the football, a lineman could have got injured. Najee could have got injured. Anyone could have got injured. But the likelihood of that happening is very low. Or just kneeling the ball, because there's no possible way you can win the game. Even though there's going to say, there's a 99.9% chance we lose, not 100. The game's over, okay? And you risked injuring your most elusive and arguably the most best at playmaking wide receiver. You risked him. And luckily, this isn't a long-term injury, but wow, this was just this is what ESPN wanted to see. I mean, Ben looks old. He looks old. He looks bad. He looks beat up. He can barely throw the football. Our offensive line is young and they're bad, and that's okay. That's to be expected. I think they'll get better as the season goes on. I don't think they'll be anything better than middle of the pack, and that's the best case scenario. But my goodness, I mean, this team, they really look like they stunk. And now they're going into the game, next week's game against Cincinnati, with Ben Roethlisberger potentially not even playing because of a left pec injury. It hurts to throw the ball. I don't even know what I would do if I'm like Tomlin. Do you start Rudolph? You can't start Haskins, and I know they wouldn't anyways if he was healthy, but do you start Rudolph or Roethlisberger? They'll probably end up going with Roethlisberger like they do every single time Big Ben's injured. But I mean, my goodness, does it honestly make a difference? The Bengals, they seriously could beat us next week, guys. I don't care that the game's in Heinz Field. They could beat us, so mark my words. I'm not feeling too great about this. I mean, this season isn't over. It's one loss, don't get me wrong. But we have to play better. We need to have better play calling. We need to have better execution. And wow, I mean, just wow. And honestly, so are the days of our Steelers.